But one of the first things that I really do want to touch up on is the concept of allowing yourself to get soul ties with people that you just genuinely may not even be interested in. One of the reasons why I really had to chill out and learn to control my sense of sexual desires is because I found myself getting soul ties with people that I just genuinely wasn't interested in. I'm one of those people like majority of men, you have to learn this sense of self-worth. You have to learn this sense of self-respect. So me being raised the way that I was, eventually over time, I realized that I just always found myself clinging on or being attached or having some form of soul ties to somebody that I really just wasn't interested in the simplest terms. And what this does to you mentally is it really just confuses you. It puts you in a state of mind where you don't necessarily know which way to move because your feelings and your emotions are all over the place. And especially as a man, you shouldn't be walking around here in a constant emotional state. But when you sleeping with so many different women, and this is the same for women as well, when you sleeping with so many different men, is it puts you in a position where you feel vulnerable because you sleeping with them is just you needing to be validated. You have some deep-rooted problems that you're trying to get to the bottom of, or you may need to get to the bottom of. So you just using that as an easy escape, dealing with different people, but it comes back to hunt you in the long run if you don't learn or accept whatever it is that you need to deal with and heal from it. And one thing that I learned about this sense of learning how to control your sexual desires is that if you do not know how to respect yourself, if you do not know really just how to control yourself, the world will take full advantage of you. I was scrolling on Instagram the other day and I forgot who it was. It was just some girl. And she was just speaking on how men are really like the weakest creatures ever, and how it doesn't matter if they're in a marriage, it doesn't matter if they're in a long-term relationship. A man will pretty much just give himself up to a woman and jeopardize everything that he has going on. And it just really made me think, and I felt like, as men, we shouldn't be categorized as that. We shouldn't be categorized as weak or somebody that's really just easy to conform to sexual desires or really just give into that type of stuff. We got to learn how to value ourselves to the point where not only others don't view us this way, but we don't view ourselves this way. I don't know what it is in the men's community. And this is a little different for women. I'm just speaking on men right now, so give me a second. But I don't know what it is in the men's community. Like, a lot of us just aren't taught like we shouldn't do those things. Like, I don't know one homeboy or one person that I was raised around that was really taught to value and respect your body. This is our temple. This is the thing that we're going to have to live with, and this is what we're really going to be for our entire existence. So why is it that you're out here selling yourself short or giving yourself to multiple people that you probably don't even genuinely like? If you really think about how crazy that sounds, it really just puts you in a totally different headspace because, we're supposed to love and we're supposed to care for ourselves, but you're giving yourself to somebody that not only do you not like, but you don't respect and you don't value. And it's gotten to the point where I've seen so many people indulge in sexual activities and not even kiss, the person that they were sleeping with. And that really just makes you think about what's really going on and how really we shouldn't even be putting ourselves in that position in the first place. We should learn to deal with people that we genuinely love and respect and just treat our body like the temple that it is, because women are really starting to see that men really aren't really where they should be mentally. There's a lot of men that are very, very weak and have very fragile egos. And what this allows them to do is just mess with multiple women. That sense of, or that lack of self-respect just puts them in a position to constantly need to be validated by the world and by how many women that they can sleep with. And all this does is just lead you down the wrong road in the long run. But not only that, sleeping with multiple women or sleeping with multiple men really puts you in a position mentally to constantly be emotional. When I was going through my, let's just call it a hoe phase. When I was going through my hoe phase, I felt like I just was all over the place. I felt like I could never be fully grounded in what I had going on in this because I was allowing myself to share energy with so many different types of people. You got to put yourself in that position where you not only are messing with them like that, you're probably entertaining them. You're probably lying and trying to keep up with what they have going on. And really, it's just way too much messy stuff going on for you to even think logically at that point, which really just puts you in a position mentally where you're not even focused, you're not even locked in no more, and you're just emotional. And a lot of y'all who actually had a whole phase, y'all can relate to this. It does not feel good. It does not feel good leading multiple people on. It does not feel good putting yourself in a position where you just, you feel used. Because I swear this is real. And a lot of y'all who've been in that position, y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but when you're dealing with multiple people and when you've been with so many, I guess, random people, not so many now, but when you've been around or whatever, you kind of feel like you've been used. Like, dang, is something wrong with me? Like, am I getting used? And I feel like the roles kind of flip, and it goes from like the woman being used to like the man feeling like he's being used when you just are just so, let's just call it promiscuous in a sense. But yeah, just that feeling of constantly being emotional is just not worth it. We all have some things that we need to do or somewhere that we're trying to get, and nobody has no time to be in that constantly emotional state. And this is one thing that I'll always pay close attention to whenever you're being intimate with somebody, or you may be talking to or dealing with somebody. The way to find out if it's real and if it's genuine and it's something bigger than just the sex that y'all having is take the sex away. And this is for anything. Take what you think is valuable away, or whatever is holding the relationship together, and see if it falls apart. I did this one time, and what I realized is that a lot of the times you will know exactly what the problem is. So if you remove that sex, or if you remove those sexual desires that you may have for that person, and you just focus on other things, you'll realize that your entire foundation was built on this form of lust, or it was built on this form of your sexual desires, and it really just will not last. You'll see it crumble right before your eyes. So that's really one of the easiest ways to find out if whatever you're dealing with is really just worthwhile, or it's just surface level. And I know majority of y'all can probably agree with this one right here. But one of the reasons why I feel like you must learn how to control your sexual desires is because of the wasted bodies. Now, we all have a past. Some people may not have had it as bad as others. Some people may have been able to control their lust or their sexual desires a lot better than others. But no matter what, I feel like majority of us have given ourselves to people that we kind of wish that we didn't, or it was just a waste of a body. So just that thought alone, knowing that you've experienced or you put yourself in a position to be exposed and to be open to a person and you have to regret it, really just speaks a lot. So just this concept of just wasted bodies and just wasted energy and wasted soul ties and time really is just not worth the way that it makes you feel, because you have to go on with your life. And I don't know about y'all, but I'm somebody that actually remembers, like, man, I did do this or I did do that, and I had this experience with that person. I'm not someone that can just forget and say, oh, it only happened once, I'll just let it go. No, like, I'm gonna actually remember. So with that being said, just that thought of who you've given yourself to will really just come back to hunt you in the long run. Because if it's something that you regret, then it's something that you regret. And I'm not even saying that you should regret the things that you're doing. I just feel like we have to be way more cautious about the decisions that we're making, about these sexual desires that we're having, because we all have them. We're human beings. This is something that you probably won't even be able to run from, but you can become bigger than the thought of anything sexual. You just have to learn that this sexual desire, this feeling that you get, to me, it's more of an emotion. It's more of something that you feel and you just tend to react on. If you learn to actually think logically and to be one step ahead, then it's easy to overcome. I'm in a position right now in my life where I'm just not allowing those sexual urges to get the best of me. Yes, I still have them. Yes, I still may have random thoughts, but I think whenever I get that thought, not only on where I'm trying to be, but if you allow sexual urges or those sexual desires to control you, you are weak. And it's really just that simple. If you fall into traps, if you fall into anything where you're just giving yourself to somebody that you know you don't want to be with, and you just wasting your time, then you are somebody that's weak. You're somebody that's running from something. I don't know what it is, but you need to fix something inside of you, because you should value and respect yourself enough to not just give yourself to random people. And like I said before, women are just starting to view men a lot differently now. Like, it's just so crazy how men are really looked at as somebody that's really just weak, somebody who doesn't really have a sense of self-control. And I don't know about y'all, but I really do not want to stand for that. I'm not somebody that will ever represent that. I want them to look at me and be like, man, he controls himself. You can send anybody up to him and offer him anything, and he's gonna brush them off like, I'm good on that, I'm straight. And that's how you should be. Just because we haven't really been taught the sense of self-respect doesn't mean that you don't have to have it. And the way that I like to look at it, there's so many women out here that actually go and be with what they want to be with. There's women out here that have standards. Women have way more standards than men. Let's just let's just make that clear. But women go and be with who they actually want to be with. I have not met a woman that would put herself in a position to deal with or sleep with a man that she doesn't really truly desire, and just kind of just let it be that. I don't know. I just don't really know women that do that. Women just go with who they want to be with, and they allow it to be that. So why can't we do the same thing as men? And for the women that heard that, let me know in the comments if that's true, because I feel like it's very true that you guys just actually just be with who you want to be with, and give your body to who you want to give it to, people that you actually like and you may care for. And I feel like as men, like I said before, we have to be on the same type of page. We have to learn the sense of self-value and self-respect, to where we're just doing the same thing. But really just keep in mind that controlling your sexual desires is not going to be an easy thing necessarily. There's been times in my life where I've thought that I've overcame certain things, and then I relapsed. And let me tell y'all how to break free of this, is because this is what you don't realize. People think when they overcome something, or when they overcome a certain barrier, that they cannot go back in time, that they cannot re-experience or relapse on whatever that thing was. But I'm here to tell you today that that is false. And the way that you overcome this is understanding that you can relapse. You have to be conscious of how flawed you are, and how willpower is not going to be enough for you to not just do the things that you said that you didn't want to do or you aren't going to do. And when you do this, it'll put you in a position to remove yourself from every environment that you know can bring the worst out of you. For example, if I'm somebody like I am now, if I'm somebody that is really trying to avoid any type of flings and hookups, and getting those sexual urges, why would I be in the club every weekend? Why would I constantly put myself in those environments where I know that's what's going on a lot of the times? It just wouldn't make no sense for me to put myself in a position where I'm surrounded by those things, and then try to fight off the demons and the urges that just come with it. Don't put yourself in the fire if you don't want to be burned. And it's really just as simple as that. But take the time today to learn a sense of self-love and self-respect, because in the long run, it'll do more for you than anything else. When I finally start getting in touch with learning how to control my sexual desires, it was a feeling of, that I really just couldn't shake. It was a feeling that I was so thankful for, that I couldn't break, because you feel like you have full control over your life. That is the one thing that so many men lack, is just learning how to just control their sexual desires and not giving into everything. We got to be deep rooted, and our foundation and our core has to be strong. You don't want to put yourself in a position to go out here and get married and jeopardize everything for a one night stand, or because something looks like eye candy. You got to be stronger than that. Because if you're that weak, then you're susceptible to anything in life. And really just really remember that, because somebody is going to take full advantage of you. But if you made it to the end of the video, I appreciate y'all, man. It's your boy Blue Jay Tay. Drop a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.